5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Hello there and welcome back to the closed qualifiers EPICENTER XL OG versus Team Kinguin game number 2. OG taking game number 1. I'm here with Mo Farah on this lovely Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody there. And yeah, Mo, well, we had OG taking game number 1. Can you just run us through more or less what happened?
5 seconds remaining. OG's turn to ban. OG's turn to ban.
Alrighty then, well, yes, going into this draft, I mean, Kinguin, they went for a pretty crazy draft last time. Are we expecting to see the same thing coming through in this game, or are they going to take the foot off the gas a little bit?
I am really hoping they pick a range hero this time in the draft. That's the main comment for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
The 5 melee head rush run at the OG team didn't seem to work for them this time. Oh, OG actually let the brood through because they know Kinguin have first pick this time, so can't pick up the Tiny for themselves. And this is the other thing, OG actually didn't ban Rubik this time. Sorry, Kinguin didn't ban Rubik this time. So that leaves Rubik as a first pick for either team, and Kinguin just decided to grab it straight away.
Yeah, they really do value this hero, don't they?
The thing is that OG really value the hero as well, so
that's true. That's true.
I think it's a hero that both these teams like, so it was always going to get picked up relatively early if it made it through the banning phase. Unfortunately, this time it has. Everyone loves to see a Rubik game, so should be a good one to watch so far for Kinguin.
Alrighty, well, Witch Doctor coming out from OG, so we'll see Fly on that one again. Hopefully, won't be playing quite as a sacrificial role again, but then again, it worked last game, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, Fly really values this Witch Doctor as a position 5, and it doesn't really give anything away about your draft, but here we go.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
One of the famous picks for OG, and if it's not a no-tail Tiny, it's going to be a Jax Spirit.
I am so excited for this one. This is, Jax
Kinguin, sorry, Kinguin just coming out with a Tidehunter there as their second pick of the game. Wow, that is in your face. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that shows a lot about Kinguin, how they want to play their game. That they want to fight around this tide. They want to really try and get this mid-game fight going. They've got this big Ravage coming out, possibly some good spell steals from the Rubik. Earthspirit's actually a very good hero against the Rubik. It's one of the very good counters early on in the phase, because when Rubik gets this level 6, he doesn't really want to steal from Earthspirit ever at any point in the game, because he doesn't have these stones to control. He has to rely on the ones that have been put down by the Earthspirit, and you don't really want to be doing that as a Rubik. So if you're playing the Rubik this game, you've suddenly got 4 targets to spell steal from instead of 5. So really like the picks from OG so far.
Yeah, me too. And now they ban out that Broodmother, not wanting to let him go through. Kinguin obviously once scarred, not looking to repeat the actions of last game. They ban out the Resolution Gyrocopter. I can respect that a lot.
Yeah, the thing is, OG nearly always pick this Gyrocopter in the second picking phase if it's not banned out. It's a very versatile hero, and it's so strong in these mid-game fights. And as we see, Team Kinguin so far, it looks like they want to try and draft around these mid-game fights with the Ravage. So, it's trying to stop OG being able to fight into them as much with these really strong heroes, possibly. And look, the same with the Puck as well. I really like these bans from Kinguin.
Yeah, so we're expecting a ranged carry from OG, aren't we? But you don't want to really lane a melee carry versus a Tidehunter, do you?
I don't think so, but the Maledict from the Witch Doctor is very good at killing the Tide. You know, this Kraken Shell is such a good ability at being able to purge off skills, but Maledict's one of the only skills that can't be taken off. So, but be expecting Witch Doctor to level Black Maledict at level 1 maybe, and try and get an early kill on the Tide Hunter. Well,
okay, that could be interesting to see. But there comes a Brewmaster from OG. So, well, that first pick is going to be that. And oh man, Kinguin just not holding back in this draft. They're not interested in picking a roaming hero. They want to pick up their course, and there comes out the Terrorblade from Team Kinguin, giving OG plenty of time to think about this one now. Terrorblade doesn't traditionally do fantastically versus the Brewmaster in lane unless he has a couple of supports there to help him out. Just because that miss is super annoying versus him.
Yeah, and the thing is, this Brewmaster pick's really good as well, because we've talked about how much this mid-game fight's going to mean. Kinguin actually ban out the Gyro and the Puck, so OG instantly take their big teamfight hero of their own. When we talk about big teamfight heroes, I personally tend to think about the Brew and the Tide instantly straight away. Oh my word!
My lord, it's going to be an S4 Tinker.
I think S4. I think it's going to be. It'll be a no-tail Tinker. I think No-Tail plays the Tinker all the time.
Yeah, S4 likes the Brewmaster as well, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
No-Tail. No-Tail's been picked this Tinker a lot at the moment by OG as well. It's another one of their signature heroes. So Kinguin actually instantly replied with the DP. This is very, very good. So OG want to have this really good high ground defense with the Tinker. You know, with this Brew split coming online, they have the Cask flying around. Death Prophet doesn't care, you know, it doesn't care about these lasers and the marches from the Tinker. You know, he's probably going to get really, really tanky, you know, try and get this BKB online relatively quickly, and just the laser, you know, it normally stops these teams from pushing high ground, but, you know, Exorcism doesn't care about the laser, you know, these ghosts can't be hit, so
yeah,
the Tinker
also does very well versus the Brewmaster as well. In his Brew form, he's not really safe versus Death Prophet though, because those Brewlings can drop quite quickly if he's not careful.
And the silence,
and also the silence. Yeah, I was going to say the silence also very good against the Beastmaster and the Tinker and the Esprit and then the Witch Doctor. So.
The thing is, OG, you know, Team Kinguin have picked this Terrorblade relatively early in this draft, and OG have a really, really good heroes at dealing with it, you know. If this Tinker gets the Aether Lens Ags online relatively early, he's going to be lasering through those illusions really easily. And the Brewmaster Dispel on the Storm Panda as well can deal a lot of damage to illusions too from the Terrorblade. Terrorblade's not one of those heroes like Phantom Lancer where you can make those illusions quickly, you know. It does have a cooldown that it has to abide by, so this Dispel is going to do a lot of damage to this Terrorblade. Terrorblade Illusions, sorry.
Alrighty, well, Nyx Assassin banned out from OG, the classic Tinker counter pick, and Team Kinguin, what are both teams looking for? I mean, OG, they're looking for their carry right now, and what kind of carry could really hurt Team Kinguin? I can see something like a Luna working pretty well for OG, in fact.
Yeah, definitely. So, possibly, I think Kinguin need a position 4 here, unless they decide to run this Tide as a 4, but I mean, they need some more lockdown, I think, in general. This is why I really like the Nyx ban as well. You know, good against the Tinker, good against the Cask, you know, it's flying around, good against the Earth Spirit stuns. So let's see what they go for here. They have a lot of time to think about this last pick. They actually haven't used any reserve time, only 1 second. So,
yeah, they could burn down 2 minutes if they wanted to, but let's see what it's going to be. I mean, I mean, they need to get themselves a position 4, or possibly even a 5 if they want to put the Rubik on the 4. And it's going to be the Shadow Demon.
Oh wow. Okay, it's a Rubik position 4 then, and they're picking the Shadow Demon position 5. This is interesting from Kinguin because, yeah, I think most likely it could be either way around, but I think the Rubik probably wants the farming potential over the Shadow Demon this game. This is interesting though, because neither of these supports from Kinguin, they don't have really good lockdown. They can play aggressive, you know, with this Shadow Demon Rubik. They have the lift, they have the disruption, but not a lot of damage output from between those two heroes instantly. Like, not a lot of burst damage, so be interesting to see if OG can try and take advantage of that with maybe like a really, really difficult to bring down tanky core hero.
Yeah, I do like the disruption versus the Tinker and the Brewmaster though. It's a good spell versus those two, just to delay the Brewmaster ulti. It's really nice for that, and also it sets up nicely for the Death Prophet stun because it's actually got a bit of a cast time on it. And whilst you will usually be quick enough to interrupt the Brewmaster's ultimate, it can sometimes be enough for people to blink away from you or whatever. So set that up with a disruption, and you're looking pretty.
Looking very, very good. The thing is, OG are relatively. They can't pick a really, really good illusion hero into Shadow Demon either, so something like the Luna that we were talking about earlier, they can't really go for. This SD can, you know, pump out a lot of damage with the Luna Glaives, and farm, you know, the SD can just farm a lot herself, so I'm really interested to see what OG pick here. They have a lot of team fight from their heroes already, and they need to, you know, they need some physical damage on their team and something that's able to take towers, I think. Oh, wow.
Well, that's not what we said. That is not what we said at all. Okay, no push, but a lot of gank coming out there. And they're looking to amp up the pressure this game. I like the way they pick the Slark. So obviously Slark is a hero, you want to get your Shadow Blade up nice and quick, and maybe like a Sanjin Yasha to follow it up with nicely. Then you basically go around and gank, and you make so much space. And with the Tinker pushing out as well, this is going to be a game of space. I reckon we're going to see OG looking to take the mid game and force Kinguin out of the map as early as possible and stop that Terrorblade coming online, because it's going to be questionable whether Team Kinguin actually have enough to fight in the early mid if they don't get a really good advantage early on, especially with the heroes they picked.
Yeah, I think OG are going to really look to try and fight around this Brewmaster. Now, when this Tinker gets his Boots of Travel online, the flying Jarex on the Witch Doctor and the Earth Spirit, I think if they just roam around with the Brewmaster trying to get kills, you know, No-Tail can just try and TP in on the Tinker, and they should be able to just burst anybody down, really. You know, try and create space for this Slark to farm. But the thing is, you know, Slark, he doesn't mind fighting early. Like you said, when he gets this Shadow Blade, you know, he might even want some of the action himself. And we've already talked about from last game how important it is to pick heroes that are able to fight early, so let's see what they look to go for here. You know, they do have this dual core on Kinguin though, with the DP and the Terrorblade, so I'll be interested to see how much Terrorblade can get done this game, because, you know, it's not an easy game for him against the Tinker. I think a lot of the tower pushing ability is going to have to come from this Death Prophet, and it's not easy to run into these marches and the high ground defense that OG have.
No, he makes some very good points coming into this game. Well, we will have resolution on the Slark coming down to it. I mean, he does play this hero quite a lot, you know. He's not a meta pick right now, but we have seen a fair amount of Slark resolution over the past year or so. And I'm going to be interested to see how the Death Prophet lanes up against the Tinker. I imagine Tinker is probably going to have either Fly or Jarex helping him out in the middle lane. I imagine probably more going to be Jarex skanking around on his Earth Spirit. And that should hopefully help the Tinker get the edge over the Death Prophet in lane, but Exotic Deer needs to have a good lane for this lineup to work for them. They can't rely, even if Terrorblade gets a really fantastic lane to start with, he's just not the same kind of hero that Gyrocopter is, in that he can come to ganks early on and have a huge impact. You know, he can use Metamorphosis, he does a lot of damage, he can get a pick off or two maybe, but he doesn't have that massive teamfight presence until later on in the game, so they're going to need the Death Prophet online for this, big time.
I really like the fact that Kinguin this game, though, in comparison to last, have picked heroes that take objectives a lot easier. We saw last game they had this PL Night Stalker Sanking cores, and that you could see they found it really difficult, that even when they won fights, to try and get anything from the map, because they don't push quickly. But between the Terrorblade and the, you know, the Exorcism from the DP this game...
Oh, nice lift from Cankle there, able to cancel Jarex's roll, and now he's got nowhere to go. This is going to be your first blood. Exotic Deer takes one for the team.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy with that.
Well, takes one with the game.
Don't get the bounty rune in the bot lane though. They get one of them, but not the other one. So Rezo's going to be very happy to just walk in and be able to see that available to him.
That's a pretty nice pickup from him, isn't it?
I really like the Rubik staying in the bot lane with this Tide though. Normally we see Tide picked up against these melee cores a lot, and you know, it works really well for him. But Slark is one of those heroes with Essence Shift that he doesn't really mind trading hits with the Tide that much. So I think the Tide's going to need a little bit of help at the start of the game down here.
Okay, well, middle lane Exotic Deer laning up against No-Tail, and I've noticed something. Kinguin never block. They just let OG block and then let the creeps fall under tower, and they seem to be happy for the lane to go this way to start things off.
Yeah, you're right. They did it last game as well, actually. That's a good point. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, it means that the lane's just going to push straight back in, isn't it? I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I mean, it's okay. I don't know what the actual reasoning behind it is, but I guess they just want to use the heroes for the early game bounties, and you know, I guess it secured them first blood when you got no one blocking, so
yeah, definitely.
Maybe that's the decision. I'm not too sure. Meanwhile, we do have Kankor at bottom helping out the Tidehunter to start the game off as Patos lanes off versus Resolution, and we'll pull up those last hits and see that Patos is kind of well, I mean, very first creep wave, but yeah, he's doing alright, and that Anchor Smash is going to be super annoying for Resolution to deal with.
But I'm not sure if you saw, but right at the start of the game, S4 tried to pull the creep wave. You know, we see this a lot from Pesky and Flame.
Roll forwards onto Kankor here in the bottom lane. I'm going to have to interrupt you as the Marduk does come out. They are jumping on him, but he does manage to get the TP, but he dies in base.
In the
that malediction coming through.
Yeah, we talked about in the draft that he's probably going to take this Maledict at level 1 because it's going to do so much work in this early game, especially with the kill potential. So
you nailed that call. Well done.
Come on, man.
Well done, you. We have the roll forwards onto Paytos here. Anchor Smash coming down, and he's not really too bothered actually. We will see the Maledict, but Paytos doesn't care. I mean, it's level 1. There's no other damage. He's just Fly's just like, look at him. He doesn't do anything to Paytos.
Oh, in the top lane, they've used the meta though on the Terrorblade, and I think Bruce is gonna. Oh no, maybe not.
He's got the Drunken Haze. I'm sure he'll use it on Nisha. And, well, if he gets the oh, look at this! I love this blocking whilst the Drunken Brawler runs off, whilst that Drunken Haze runs off, and trying to chase down S4. He's in the trees. Can S4 survive? Well, looks like maybe he will. And actually, L is in trouble. Oh, that's a really nice crit from S4, but coming maybe a little bit too far forward. Nisha, finished the job. Oh, don't worry, L got it, but that was very close.
The Drunken Brawler crit from the illusion. I think every time Terrorblade uses reflection, that illusion's always going to get a first hit crit off. So that's going to be a good pick against the Brew.
Yeah, that is a nice little interaction there. Bottom lane, mid lane, every lane. Yep.
He's going to die.
Yep. There's that Maledict coming through.
Okay, indeed, Fly. Okay.
Oh, the Brock. It's going to cancel Paytos' TP. I'm not quite sure where Paytos was going, but Jarek said no.
Okay, how long?
Oh, he was trying to TP back. He was trying to pull the creeps back and then TP to his tower.
I think Paytos is still going to be fine though. I don't think he really cares.
Yeah, he's a pretty tanky watermelon. They're all forwards, and he's just like,
Rezo can't rotate over here because he has to focus on CSing under the tower here too. So, fortunately, it might be a kill now actually.
Maybe they're going to get it. Kankor's coming in. The Wander's popped, and there comes that Fade Bolt, and that's going to be a lot of no damage at all. Oh, look at it! They're all forwards, and they are able to get the kill. Jax gets it under tower. Oh my god, that was a long old kill. That was like taking down a Roshan and just hitting him. A Roshan that moves.
What a mean damage reduction bottom lane they have though. You know, they have the Anchor Smash and the Fade Bolt. So
so you really don't do any damage.
I'm interested to see this mid lane though. Like, the Tinker's doing very, very well against the DP here. You know, he's 15 CS to the DP's 8, and Notao's controlling these runes really well. Unfortunately, he didn't get the top rune. The regen did spawn in the bot, but Fly's very happy with that. You know, he had no mana, and suddenly he's going to be able to go back to his bot lane and just start zoning the tide away again. So.
Yeah, and he's actually gone first item brown boots. Like, he's got nothing else. Fly on the Witch Doctor. He's just picking up some little booties, and that's actually what helped him get that kill. I think being able to keep up with the Tide Hunter and hit him loads.
Yeah, definitely. I like that Notao's gone for Wand in the mid lane as well. You know, he might need these clutch wand saves in the mid lane at the moment. You know, we see the SD coming around sometimes with the Shadow Poison. You know, this Crypt Swarm and Spirit Siphon are going to be, thrown out a lot of the time to try and secure CS.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't see this a lot on Tinker mid lane. He might actually be in trouble now, though.
Oh, dragging him back under the tower he goes. The Spirit Siphon coming out as well, and they will be able to take out the No-Tail.
I'm sorry, Noto. I need to stop saying nice things about you. That's the curse.
It's a bit of a curse, isn't it? But you can take responsibility for that death.
Top lane on the Brew
could be in trouble here. He's got that stomp, and look at the blocks once again from L there. And the miss. Oh, the miss again! The miss from the illusion as well. 3 misses in a row. S4 survives. Wow.
That's a 10% dodge chance there. So
yeah, 3 times in a row, 10% dodge chance. I mean, Paytos dies at bottom, but Jesus, S4 spinning the dice, and it's coming up Snake Eyes.
So 1 in 1,000 chance, by the way, 3 times in a row. I'm not sure if it's pseudo random or normal random, but that's crazy. That's so unfortunate for Kinguin.
Jeez, I mean, I think one of them might have been the Drunken Baller timer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Possibly, I don't know, but
still ridiculous.
Lift up in mid as they're rolling onto No-Tail. Jarek splits the needle there, misses both of them. The stun's coming out. They actually do save him. Now turning it around to an exotic deer here. Now the wave comes through though. That was a very nice Crypt Swarm. Jarek's just not respecting the swarm. And I think they'll be fine. Yeah.
It felt like Jarek was so confident there when these supports come in from Kinguin. They do a lot of damage early on, especially with this Soul Catcher build from the Shadow Demon. He actually hasn't got any points in Shadow Poison at all, so really going for this ganking build, for this kill potential with the Terrorblade in the mid lane as well. Ooh, this is scary, I think, for Moji at this point. But Rezo's farming okay in this bot lane. So I think it's all going to come down to these mid-game team fights at this point. If Rezo can get online early, try and get some aggressive moves in with this Shadow Blade, then maybe it might not look so bad for them at all.
Oh, here we go, jumping under tower onto Paysos here. Can they get this kill? It's very brave by Resolution, but now that Ollie comes out, and he's actually going to be completely fine.
Yeah, Slark doesn't mind diving for those kills when he has the ult online. It's just
Yeah,
in
the moment he
between.
hits that 6.
When he doesn't have this ult and it's on cooldown, he needs to be really careful. But if he can play around the ulti cooldown, you know, he's going to be, you know, diving around for these kills all the time, I imagine. What's happening in the... Okay, so neither offlane are doing very, very well at this point. You know, S4's doing better than the Tide, but he has died a couple of once as well, so not having an amazing time. I think he's just going to be happy to get his levels online at this point. You know, he's a whole level ahead of the Tide almost, so doing okay for himself.
Yeah, it's doing very, very well. And in the middle lane, we have, once again, the Tinker kind of drawing even now after that kill. Exotic Deer was able to take back a little bit of ground and draw things level.
I'm interested to see Exotic Deer get a point in Exorcism at level 6 though. We usually see the DPs hold on to their skill points to see if they want to use the Exorcism, but...
Oh, stun coming out onto the Witch Doctor, lift it back and fly. Well, he bit off a little bit more than he could chew by coming to that lane as Cancel comes around.
Yeah, OG don't have a massive amount of vision on the map at the moment either. They have this ward in the bot jungle, and they have this ward mid, but, you know, with these supports hanging around the top side of the map, you know, that ward isn't going to see those rotations coming in from Kinguin, unfortunately.
And look at the L's positioning here up in the top lane, just hanging out in the trees, waiting to see if S4's going to come forwards.
There's actually an Arcane Rune bot as well for this DP, so I'd be surprised if he didn't try and...
We've got the banish, but Jerax is waiting and he kicks back Nisha. Now S4. Cat's coming in as well. Now
this
TP in.
Tinker.
Yeah, No-Tail's going for it. He says what up. Looking to protect his tower maybe. Defend from the gank, I'm not too sure. Jax is up on the hill. He's going to be stuck up here a while. he's got 9 seconds to roll cooldown. Meanwhile, Nisha with the Sunder. Oh man, No-Tail looking very, very low. As is S4, they really want to go find its kill onto Nisha though, and they can't quite get an S4. Actually, maybe a bit enough more to do. No, the miss, of course, always the miss.
Yeah, Exotic Deer does use this Exorcism in the bot lane with the Arcane Rune as well. I'm not surprised about that. Trying to get some damage with it. You know, you might as well use it when you have this Arcane Rune. So. Yeah,
and Paytos is waiting nearby. He doesn't quite have his ulti yet, but he's still a Tide Hunter. He can still reduce resolution damage, so should be enough to reduce resolution damage. But meanwhile, up at top, the fight is continuing. How dare we look away as Nisha is taken down by Jerax. OG managing to find a kill onto the Terrorblade there.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about though. You know, they're going to try and fight around this brew in the mid game. You know, he doesn't even have split online yet, but this brew's a really tanky hero, and in Dota you really want to try and take fights around your tanky heroes. I'd expect to see the same from Kinguin around the Tide, but unfortunately OG are the ones calling all the shots at the moment, it feels like.
Yeah, look at Jerax here, trying to be sneaky. It's going to miss his roll forwards, and L's just going to be like, hey, what up? Miss. Yeah, oh no, does land the soul catcher, my bad. And there's a disruption coming through onto Jerax here, and Terrorblade with the reflection, with the illusions. That's a whole lot of damage. S4 nearby, getting crit by his own illusion. That's not very nice.
No-Tail's actually taking this like small stack though with the march.
Yeah,
that's something. She stacked it again by himself.
This is very profitable. That was yeah, that's a really nice play. They obviously saw that earlier and then said, "Hey, No-Tail, come take this." Take this. You know, he can do it without risking himself, so that's really smart.
That's very, very good. And the thing is, whenever you see any sort of stacks away from the other side with this Tinker, it's so big for you. Like, this Terrorblade really wants to take this stacks whenever he can, so... No-Tail's actually top of the CS chart now, especially with defending that top lane, and he's taking the jungle again now, so he's actually going to have these boots of travel, not a fantastically fast time, but he did go for the bottle as well as the soul ring first, so I think it's still a decent time for these boots of travel, you know, probably looking at about 12 minutes or so, maybe even a bit quicker, so doing well for himself. And Rezo's, you know, second in the net worth chart, so OG are going to be very happy that their cores are coming online at a decent rate here, especially because they're relatively greedy as well.
Yeah, it's going quite well.
Top lane split as well on the Terrorblade.
Oh yeah, looking to take out Nisha here. Now he does have that Sunder available. Doesn't really want to use it on a... Actually, can he use it on the Brewling? I don't know, but he's being taken down. There's a stun coming through. Malediction as well. Death Ward popped, and that is going to be a dead Nisha. Nicely done there by OG to take out the Kinguin carrier. And like we said before, there's a lot of pressure on this Terrorblade to get going in this game.
This is so good as well because they forced the rotation from the DP. So not only did they kill the Terrorblade, but the DP didn't get there in time to save the TB. So really probably wants to try and push this top lane in now with the catapult and maybe use the exorcism, but especially now he's seen the split go down.
Rockets coming through onto Katsu.
Expect to see No-Tail probably TP to this top lane right now and try and defend.
Yeah, that would be I don't know, like
Well, he has his BOTs as well, so...
Oh, just getting them as well. And there's these are two massive timings, actually. Slark picking up his Shadow Blade, and Tinker with the boots of travel. Jarek's coming forward, does land it onto L there, and that is going to be a kill for him. Although the rest of Kinguin coming in, and oh my god, Jarek's just got annihilated. Yeah,
that soul catcher does so much damage, especially with you know, these Terrorblade right clicks and the purge coming out from the Shadow Demon as well. So a lot of burst damage there all at once that came out at the same time.
Bottom lane, Patos in the tree line being chunked down by Resolution, and he is going to find that kill. Scott needs to be careful here. Actually gets the counter on. Oh man, that's a big steal, and we'll be able to take out Resolution with that one.
I think Rezo was probably dead anyway, but that's... Oh, he actually had the pounce online, so if the Slarker managed to get into the trees there, you know, just pounce away, but the pounce from the Rubik came out first. Yeah. You can't pounce away from a pounce, unfortunately.
You can't out-pounce the pouncer, as Cass are able to find a very valuable kill there. And every kill you get on Slark is worth, like, probably a lot more than a kill on the Terrorblade, because Slark wants to get going as early as possible. He does not play well from behind. Like, Terrorblade's fine with being a little bit behind. He's got lots of farming tools, so he's just going to split up and farm and get over it.
That's the thing, the game's never over when you've got a Terrorblade on your team. Like, if you take one good fight and you have this metamorphosis up, you know, the buildings die so quickly, but I think Slark relies a lot more on the snowballing ability, like you said. Brewmaster actually, you know, pulls the creep wave top.
Fly could be in trouble. Nisha and L coming in. They get the banish to cancel the Death Ward as well. Needs to be careful though, he is maledicted up, and now gets the Sunder off onto Jarek's. Rockets coming through, Resolutions on the backlines. He's trying to take out this Nisha here, and with the Brewmaster Brewlings as well. The Shrine, it's very big. Nisha still alive, no Sunder available. But Reflection is down, and that's a beautiful stun coming through, and Jarek's jumping in. Look at this Magnetize bouncing around everywhere. It's two taken down. The Death Prophet and the Rubik are out of this fight, and OG very happy with that. They're going to get back to their lane, get back to farming, and probably take a tower or two in the process.
Have we seen the Tide use Ravage? He must have tried to use it when the Slark went on him before, I think, but...
Yeah, that
I feel like if the Tide had been able to TP in there with the Ravage, the fight would have been completely different.
Oh.
Rezo actually...
yeah, Nisha actually getting a kill. Getting killed by Rezo. And we have Jarek's trying to chase down L here as well. There's action all over the map as the rest of the team of OG coming in to try and help out Jarek's here, and they will be able to secure that one as well.
I really like what Rezo's doing here. I know Arteezy likes to play Slark as well. Unfortunately, it's not a good hero at the moment, but I've listened to him talk about before how when you play Slark like this and you get your Shadow Blade, you can afford to farm in really difficult positions, because you know you have a lot of maneuverability with this Pounce and Shadow Blade, so you can look to get kills all the time in between farming aggressively, because you know these supports are probably going to be hanging around the jungle trying to, you know, find you and pick you off. So you don't want to be AFK farming in your own jungle. You know, you really want to try to be aggressive with the item pickup that you have. If you want to farm on Slark, just go for a Midas or something. You know, it's a waste of a Shadow Blade. So I think this is really smart from Rezo.
Well, it's actually going to be a Spirit Vessel on to fly this game, which is a little bit interesting for the Witch Doctor, but I really like the way it stacks up with Maledict. That's really good, and it's also stopping their heals when they're Maledicted up is going to be super good, and also getting an earlier Spirit Vessel versus a Death Prophet is very nice. I don't think it works with Sunder, but it definitely works with the return from Exorcism, so if you can land it at the right time, you can really mess up a Death Prophet's heal there.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is as well, like, I don't know, you see the net worth chart at the moment, like, Slark's just ahead of them by almost 2k already, and I feel like that's not going to give up with how he's playing at the moment.
No, definitely not. And Rubik's now level 6, so he's actually been level 6 for a while. We saw that steal down at bottom, so I'm wondering, what are the big steals this game?
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a Brewmaster split, there's the...
No-Tail's just going to keep TPing in there and throwing marches down.
Yeah, it's very difficult, but they have the Exorcism, so...
So, you know, it's not going to be really easy to get that done. The Rubik, if he survives the fight to steal the split, would be fantastic, but like we've said, he can't steal anything from the Earth Spirit. You know, the Pounce is okay. Oh, Tinker though, on the rockets onto the Tide and the bottom rune.
Oh, he's getting pretty low, isn't he? Another rocket's coming out. That one, they don't have the sight on the Tide anymore though, so it's just going to be L taking the damage from that one. But yeah, No-Tail just whenever he can, popping them rockets, doing the damage.
Yeah, the Tide has this pipe, so he's not easy to bring down with this magic burst from the Tinker. I think he's going to be okay a lot of the time. S4 and Fly actually smoked up in the top lane. They really want to use this split again now that the S4 has his blink.
Yeah, pretty much using it every time it's off cooldown, and well, L's going to walk straight into it. They don't even hesitate to use the banish here as S4 comes down, and look at the return haze from Cancel here, and he's going to try and TP out that one, but in comes Resolution. That's so much damage. They are able to take him out before he even gets a chance to TP away.
He actually died in Fountain to the Maledict again. That's the second time this game already.
Feels pretty bad.
Very sad. Yeah, very, very sad. DP actually has a blink. That's so aggressive. I feel like you need so many items on DP, but like they have no real catch for Tinker on their team, so it feels like the DP is going to have to try and blink in onto the backlines and finds him with this Yules or the Silence. I don't think there's any other way that they can catch No Tail this game.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's somewhat of a space-creating Death Prophet. You know, she's going to want to try and create as much room for the Terrorblade to farm as possible. And with the Blink Dagger, that actually might help out a lot. You know, being able to be more aggressive in your with your X-Citizens, get a bit of rat going on, split push, and all the while you can force people back and take a bit of the wind out of OG's sails, because they've got their Slark. They're going to want to hit their timings around sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes. They're going to start to get really aggressive onto Kinguin. So I do actually really like the Blink Dagger as a response to that.
Yeah, I think they really need to try and fight around this tide as well, because we haven't really seen a big Ravage yet this game. So, oh, Jarak's though in trouble actually on the Earth Spirit.
Uh-oh. Yeah, getting caught out a little by King. I think it was just sitting in the trees trying to wait for something cheeky, and Kinguin found him and punished him for it. Being
just very greedy there, trying to just... I'm not sure what he was trying to do there, but, you know, unfortunately, you know, it's only an Earth Spirit, but, you know, kill's a kill. Kinguin are going to be happy. They actually see Rezo from this Sentry Ward as well, though. They're really trying to bait him in, I think, here. They put another sentry down. I think Rezo's probably going to be wise to this. I don't think he dives too far.
Yeah, I thought... Yeah, he's being careful. But yeah, Silver Edge does really well versus the Tidehunter, doesn't it?
Yeah, very well. And like the thing is, you know, not only that, but it helps his team lock the Tide down when he's Silver Edged as well. It's not just the fact that he can, you know, try and solo kill the Tide himself, but if they can try and stop this Ravage coming out from Kinguin, that's, you know, that's their massive team fight ability. It's one of the only catches they have. So I think if they can get the Tide, it's good, but you know, he's doing really well with the Shadow Blade in general anyway, and you know, the Silver Edge duration on the Shadow Walk lasts longer, so I think it's a decent choice. You know, Shadow Blade on Slark's just such a good item, so Silver Edge also going to be good stats too.
Well, S4's up at top, and Tinker TPing in as well, and we have a very sneaky exotic deer in the trees, and actually, oh no, catches out the Tinker, gets the silence off on him, but he actually gets away from her, and now exotic deer's going to be the one on the run, and a lot of TPs in from Kinguin here. They get the disruption onto the Death Prophet, but the Brewlings are doing quite a lot, but that disruption, their ultimate, lovely Ravage just about picks up the Tinker, and No Tail's in a lot of trouble as Kinguin are able to take out the Rock, gonna stun up all three, but it's not enough to save him. A little bit of time. Jarek's the ulti coming through from L here, and they are getting to... Yeah, there we go. The damage comes through on him. He goes down, and Kinguin going to be quite happy with that one, actually. They really foiled that push quite dramatically. I think the Tinker just got a little bit carried away trying to stay in the tree line and not really knowing where to run.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing is, this Brew Split has a slightly smaller cooldown than the Tide Ravage as well, so if they can try and find a fight... Oh, Rezo again just gets all these pickoffs.
Rezo getting the pickoffs. Need to keep an eye on that slippery Slark, because he's going to be constantly looking to catch people, and I'm sure he does so much damage with the build he's got right now. I mean, very difficult hero to play against.
Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, like, if OG can try and find a fight when they have this split up and the Ravage isn't up for... They have about a 40-second window, so... You know, I think that's probably their time to go, but it's so difficult to try and force a fight in such a small time frame. Oh, they're actually gathering around the Roche pit. This is
interesting first item for the Terrorblade, and yeah, OG going for the Roshan. I think Kinguin can't really let this fall, but are they even going to know what's going on? They got no wards, and I mean, look at their vision, they got absolutely no idea. Very defensive warding from them.
The thing is, it's been so difficult for them to try and track the Slark the whole game, so they have no idea where he is. Like, he could be farming his jungle, he could be trying to be aggressive on you, you know, like as we've seen him get these pickoffs, but, you know, this time, free Roche for him. You know, they haven't really been able to kill him. They've killed him once this game in the bot lane from the Rubik, you know, pouncing him, but we're having real troubles with him, and now they've got to kill him twice while he has this Aegis. I actually think this just secures a lot of farm time for OG, and I think this is really good for them. They might try and take a tier 2.
Look at top. We have No Tail being really aggressive onto Kanko here, and well, he's trying to TP away in the trees and will not be successful as the laser does finish him off. Vaporizes him, in fact.
Notail's actually gone for a 4-star on Tinker as well. This is really interesting, so really valuing the manoeuvrability because he knows that Kinguin don't have much catch, so if he gets, you know, he knows this Death Prophet has a blink, so if he can just try and 4-star away and just run away, you know, rearm after the Silence Ends and blink again, then it's going to be so difficult for Kinguin to catch him. I really, really like this from Notail. It's not something we see all the time.
Yeah, and Resolution, he sees Peytos, and Peytos actually has used a blink, so I'm pretty sure Resolution's going to run for this kill here. There we go, Silver Edge use. Jarek's coming in to help out as well. They know they need this extra damage, even using the Magnetize, and Notail's there with the laser as well. They do take that out kill. And now looking at the tier 2 in middle lane, and Kinguin, they don't have their Tidehunter to defend, so I'm pretty sure they're just not gonna, but here we go. Exotic Deer, trying to split push. That is not a very easy thing to do versus a Tinker.
Yeah, like they really, really want to try and push these towers, and this 4th pick Tinker from OG is doing so much work for them. Like, Kinguin revealed so much in their draft by picking that Terrorblade early, and OG have really, really punished them by doing this. There's a heal steal from the Rubik. Like, you've talked about this already, there's really not very much for Rubik to steal this game. OG have done a really good job of picking heroes. Oh,
look at this dive here. They are going hard onto poor old Castle. And now looking for Nisha as well. Nisha, he's got that Sunder, so looking for a high health target Sunder soon, probably.
This is what I mean, like Slark can play really, really aggressively when he has his ult up. He didn't even use it there and he still escapes. He's back to full health already, so... I really like this play by OG. They're actually wasting no time at all.
Yeah, and that tier 3 tower at top is going down very hard, and that's what we were saying, you know, 20-25 minutes, that is OG's time window, and they're not going to miss that. And they still have this primal split up on their Brewmaster, so they're still ready to go. They're more than ready to go. Even the Death Ward as well up on Fly, who's very rich this game. Very unusual to see Fly, but oh, there we go. It's a very nice Ravage. It's going to land onto pretty much all 5 of them now. The TP out is going to be cancelled on the Tinker, so Notail's not getting away. Jarex will be the first one to drop, but Nisha, can they kill him? He gets the Sunder, but it's not a whole lot of health. BKB now in Resolution as he's chasing into the base to try and kill Nisha. Meanwhile, the rest of the fight, we do have Notail dropping, but it is a buyback from him. In fact, Resolution is able to get that kill. And also, Kaysor also going to be dropped down. Peytos in the middle of it all. Resolution just going completely insane here. He's got 26, a tribute shift, and he does find that kill. Buyback from the Death Prophet. Now, Notail did buy back in that one, but it's still going to be a shift of 784 gold going the side of OG.
Don't worry, Kinguin. Slark still has Aegis, so you still have to kill him twice, unfortunately. How Slark's get... I mean, we've talked about the lack of catch for the Tinker, but the fact you have a lack of catch against the Tinker and the Slark is so difficult. Like, they just can't lock this Slark down to kill him. And this Shadow Demon's just going to be in trouble here.
Yeah, the 4-man cancel, the 4-man silence, but it doesn't really do anything there.
And you talked about this attribute shift from the Slark. Like, when you win big fights like this, it gives you so much agi to push buildings after as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Rezo's just going in again!
Oh no, he's still going, and the Death Prophet is brought back, and that is her dead for 70 seconds, and a dieback. That is really, really bad.
Yeah, really unfortunate for them.
Resolution, go again, once again, he doesn't even care. He doesn't even care. Castle gets taken out, the rock flying through. Death Ward even used as well by Fly, because why not? Gotta take out Resolution somehow.
Not only does he have the Aegis, but he's actually got a BKB on the Slark now as well, so even harder.
Yeah, we saw it in the last fight. Yeah, it's absolutely insane with the Aegis, with the Silver Edge, with the BKB. Just taking out, I mean, poor old Nisha just doesn't have a chance in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, OG have done really well at playing with the timings with the heroes. We saw in the early game they were playing around the Brewmaster, and now they know that Rezo's so strong, they're all doing so well at backing him up in these fights and letting him do whatever he wants. Like, this Brew's just jumping in, initiating, trying to tank all the damage. And again, like, they're trying to go on no-tail every time in these fights on Kinguin, because they have to catch this Tinker, otherwise he's going to be outputting so much damage, and it just means Rezo can do whatever he wants in these fights.
Well, Resolution, look at him go. I mean, they've got sentries for him. Resolution knows this. He's not bothered. He's actually sitting right under a sentry here, and I mean, what are they going to do? Kill him? The Age is going to drop. You got a Brewmaster Brew Split coming in behind it. And here we go, just going onto that tower. Now the Aegis is about to run out. Resolution popping that BKB could actually be in trouble here. He's dropping quite quickly, but now BKB, and now the turnaround. He pops that ultimate, healing right back up. Nisha is able to find the Sunder onto Jax there. Resolution backing out. The Brew split was used in Patos. They're trying to kill the Brews. They might actually kill the Brewlings. There we go. Brewmaster going down. S4 hits the deck. Kinguin probably going to be looking for more here as Jax caught out. This could be a big fight for them, but look at the lasers coming through. The damage, the Death Prophet is gone, and all of a sudden, a lot of your physical damage has gone down the toilet. Patos, he has no Ravage. He will frontline the fight, and Kinguin will get back. But guess what? Resolution was absolutely fine. Like, if you don't kill him, he's going to heal right back up to full. And I'm sure he's going to be coming back into the base in just a minute. Although maybe they don't want to without their Brewmaster. They've got a tier 2 to take.
Just so difficult.
They can even take shrines.
The fight looked so good for them when they got that brew, you know, but they looked to chase for more, and I think they had to, but we've talked about them not being able to kill the Slark, and then, like you said, the Slark just disappears and comes back. But because they went on the Slark, and they didn't go on the Tinker's just having an absolute free time instead of the Slark this time, and he's just, you know, firing lasers, rockets, all from the back of the fight. And he's almost close to his axe now as well, so when he gets that online, he's going to become even more pesky, especially with these illusions not being able to hit anybody from the laser. Yeah, absolutely. And also the rockets as well, you know, 4 rockets is going to be super powerful in these team fights, because it's been very much full committal in these team fights. So the thing is though, if you target No Tail, then the Slark is going to go completely bananas. He's really going to do a lot of damage. Like, they need to target Resolution, but if they target Resolution, then No Tail's going to do it. And on top of that, whoever you target, you're going to have a Brewmaster jumping in on your face and propping that Primal Split. So there's so much to think about for Kinguin in these fights, and it feels like they're really struggling to shut OG down. You know, OG, they've taken the map. The only saving grace is that Nisha is doing quite well on farm. Not as well as the Slark. He hasn't had the same kills as the Slark. I mean, the kill's sitting 10 and 1 right now. Resolution going kind of crazy, but Nisha still has a bit, and if Nisha can find the farm this game, then late game, that is going to be a threat. So OG do need to think about finishing, but they've already one big step towards taking that with the barracks down. Now going to take some shrines as well. Just a little bit of extra gold for their team always helps out. Yeah, definitely. It feels like Kinguin can only focus down one of these 3 cores from OG at the moment. Like, they don't have the lockdown, all the damage to be able to kill all 3 at once, and that's probably just because they're so far ahead. But, you know, this Shadow Demon Rubik support
Resolution. No way does he go for this. No way. He's just jumping straight onto Nisha here, and now the immediate Dark Pact to cancel that lift. The turnaround onto Resolution, but Jarex is nearby, and they're actually really afraid to commit to this guy.
Thing is, this is so good as well because it makes Kinguin so scared to go anywhere. Like, you see at the moment, you know, Death Prophet's desperately trying to push the bot lane in, but all the other 4 just sit in their base. You know, the Terrorblade's not farming. You know, OG are going to be very happy with this.
Yeah, and give OG nearing, in fact, they might even hit the 20,000 net worth point soon. And well, we'll pull up the items and have a look what people got. I mean, we've got the
we've got the 4 staff on the Vessel and Witch Doctor. I think that shows how this game is going so much. But
yeah,
Witch Doctor has like 9,000 net worth. Jarex only has 5.7k. And I think that says a lot about this game, just because, you know, Fly's usually the one that's getting sacked by OG nearly every time, but he's getting involved in all of these kills and getting so much.
Yeah, and Skadi is out for the Slark now, so that is going to be pretty scary to get away from. And of course, Tinker finishing off his Aghanim, so pretty scary stuff as Kinguin look to defend their high ground, but their high ground defense is okay. I mean, yeah, as long as they have this Ravage up, they do offer some sort of threat to Resolution and to the rest of OG as well. I mean, I think the key is jumping onto the backlines, being able to maybe take out No Tail, and I think S4 is pretty much you ignore him. You just let him pop the Brewmaster ulti, let him do his thing. Like, it sucks, it hurts, but you can't let the Tinker or the Slark be left uncontrolled. But do Kinguin actually have enough lockdown this game? I mean, could this have been an issue in their draft? You know, we talked about it a little bit with the Shadow Demon pickup. You know, all he's got is a disruption, which is nice, but you know, the only real stuns in their team have come from the Tidehunter ultimate and from the lift from Rubik, and
yeah, it's such a, like, it's a good early kill potential combo with the Shadow Demon and the Rubik. You know, you can disrupt somebody, throw the Soul Catcher down. You know, you have the null field as well from the Rubik. And I like what Kinguin are doing here. They know Roche is going to be up soon, and OG really want this next Roche so they can go high ground. So Kinguin need to fight outside their base.
Look at the Earth Spirit here. And he's going to reveal everything. Jarex, the madman, he spots it all. He sees everything. And they're even going to let them know with the rockets fired across.
Rezo's going in.
Look at these rockets. They are doing so much damage. And that's going to force Kinguin right back into their base.
Yeah, and this is just going to secure the Roche for OG here, I think. Like, I don't think they need to force this high ground without the Aegis, especially now Roche is alive. Like, they've pushed all these lanes in, so I'd be very surprised if they went in. I think they possibly could because they're so far ahead, but you know, this is an important game for them. You know, get through to the upper bracket final. You're only 2 games away then from qualifying for another tournament. And you know, OG have been doing so well in these qualifiers lately. They haven't dropped a game in such a long time. So yeah, you know, they know how to play their Dota. They are very disciplined, and yeah, it looks like they are going to head off into the Roche pit now. Just, you know, play as safe as you can. Don't give anything to Kinguin at this point.
Yeah, and this is very typical in this patch. You know, you see people take control of the map, and Jarex has been up here for such a long time now. He's just basically a ward now. He's essentially a ward. But yeah, you take control of the map, you zone out the other team, you don't let them get any farm, but you don't commit to the high ground until you have this Aegis and cheese on your side. Then you can go, and as long as you choke them out enough, then you shouldn't really run the risk of falling behind. And you know, I'd say if they don't get anything done with this Aegis, then OG maybe start to have to worry, because late game, things get a little bit tougher for them. But I have faith in Resolution. I think he can come through for us with that Aegis. Yeah. He's going to be very confident.
They're going to not be scared at all here. I just want to say that Earth Spirit position there, I usually see that in my pubs, but they have a Shadow Amulet as well normally. Jarex doesn't this time, does it? Hashtag just chappy things. Over and out.
Shot.
Over and out.
Shot. Across the bridge there. Resolution taking the creeps in the middle lane and looking to maybe go high ground or not. OG just hanging out. Still happy to get as much side up as possible, and here we go. Bottom lane's going to be the choice. Okay, alright. They wanted the bot, they didn't mean mid.
OG's not going to be scared at all here. They just want to force this high ground fight with the Slark Aegis. If they could just jump in and try and get one of the backline first, that'd be really, really good. But it's really difficult to try and initiate here. You know, you see these supports from Kinguin are sitting really far back. You know, if they die first, that would be perfect for the side of OG. But not showing themselves, they're actually smoked up at the moment.
Yeah, Kinguin
don't want to give anything away about their positioning.
No, absolutely not. But I mean, there's not a whole lot to guess really. They're probably on their high ground, you know.
Yeah, the problem I have with this Death Prophet pick as well is that you need so many items for Death Prophet to be that tanky, you know, beast frontliner that we see. You know, you need some armor. That's why we usually see the Veil. You need the Yules as well. You need the movement speed. You need the raw HP. You probably need a BKB at some point as well. So, you know, unfortunately, when it gets to this point where, you know, you're not being aggressive with the DP, so you're not getting the tower gold. And it's very, very difficult for DP to get all these items online when you're behind.
Well, S4 still holding on to this cheese, and it's a really nice item to pick up on the Brewmaster, obviously, because you can just you basically get 3 chances to completely refresh your health pool with the primal split, and then you can cheese when you come out of it again. And
yeah, the thing is, the only way they kill the Brew at the moment before he splits is by possibly a silence from the DP. But you know, S4 has this BKB now.
He's got the BKB, yeah.
Not an issue anymore.
Very, very tricky for them to do that well. Kinguin sweating it out in their base. Oh yeah.
This is so sneaky.
He's just getting the ward, you know.
So we've talked about how hard it is for difficult for them to get on the back line. Jarex is in the best position ever now to try and get on the back line of...
Look at this. Notel's come to join him as well. He's like, yeah, I'll hang out in the cheese too. It's a place to be. And now the roll is just blinking back, just scouting out, you know, seeing what's up. Resolution, he's got that low sword, but look at S4 going for it. He pops a BKB, he pops the ultimate in the back lines, just looking to zone out Kinguin, and this is allowing Notel to just get sight on everybody and fire out rockets like nobody's business. Kinguin, how do you respond to this? You need to go and kill Notel. But how can you do that? And now comes Resolution, the laser jumping around, and 2 are dead, hitting the deck. Paytas, he's got to use a Ravage, and it is going to do absolutely nothing. Resolution on the monster kill here, and well, Exotic Deer, he's in the middle of it all, you know, he's siphoning up, taking some people for a walk, but I think this may very well be the end for Kinguin here. The buybacks are coming through, they're trying to fight their hardest, but it is godlike on Resolution, and with that, they're going to end the game. L does GG out, and unfortunately, it is going to be Kinguin dropping to the lower bracket. But they get to live to fight another day. They get to fight the loser in the next round. And OG victory, a very 2-0 indeed. I mean, Kinguin, they definitely put up